Do you ever get stuck trying to figure out what to make a YouTube video on? Maybe you don't have enough props, or you feel limited with just using your model as the only character in your video. Or maybe you don't even have a character to use in a video. And if that's the case, then I, Yume, would like to introduce you to two things: Irasutoya models and Nizima Live. Nizima Live is the official Live2D VTuber application. It's designed to be an easy-to-use, all-in-one face tracking app, and I'll explain by what I mean all-in-one in a little bit. But for now, let me show you why this app is something that I think you should consider checking out if you're either a Live2D modeler or an aspiring VTuber. Nizima Live has a variety of options for tracking, and yes, they have Makopi by Sony tracking, and I'll get to that in a moment, but they also have customizable effects, over 100 props to download and to choose from, detailed parameter adjustments so you get full control over customizing your VTuber model's movements, and so many more presets for streaming. I've never seen this many presets for streaming in a single application before. When you download the app, you already have a ton of models to choose from right away in this application, all from the Irasutoya models and even like these special models here. And if you didn't know what Irasutoya models are, then let me explain really quickly, because they're basically kind of like stock images that you can use for your content. These models support full body tracking with Makopi, including facial, arms, and leg movements. So if you don't have like your own Live2D model, then you can use and stream with these Irasutoya Live2D models. They're really useful for like background characters, or again, if you wanted to use it as your own model, and like based off the tracking that you see here, it's really well done. Like full body tracking we're talking here for 2D animations. I've used the Irasutoya models for like video content creation before, but I've never actually had a chance to use like the Live2D version of it. So if you want to make videos out of these cute little characters, and it's really easy and intuitive to set up and record into OBS, because Nizima Live makes it intuitive and easy for beginners to understand. Now, what I think makes this app stand out compared to other VTuber modeling like face tracking apps is that normally, you know, if you want to have like AR kit tracking such as like perfect face and lip sync, you know, like being able to do that, yeah, you know, or, you know, stick your tongue out or something like that, and do a little cheek puff, like that type of tracking, right? Normally you have to use like a third-party app and connect it to like another app, so that way you get all of those like parameters like working and tracking properly. But if you use Nizima Live, you don't have to do any of that, because Nizima has so many different types of tracking options. ARKit is included as one of these options, and I think that's incredibly unique. And the way they have their lip syncing setup is just, I've never seen anything like this before. You can actually adjust like the volume within, have that affect like the parameters of your face, and just like the amount of like just details and customizations that you can have, especially with being able to control all of the parameters that you have on your model. It makes me think that like this application is really like amazing for people who want to have like an all-in-one program to VTube, because normally you would have to use a couple of different programs to get the same effects as everything in here, like all the special effects for backgrounds, for your character, the face tracking, like all of it. And I also think it's really useful for people who want to create their own model in Live2D Cubism and have complete control with like fine-tuning and testing out every parameter that your model has, and just being able to like test it out in a more like fluid workflow. So for example, they have an external application integration. And what that does is it allows you to use other applications like Nizima Live to connect to Live2D Cubism. And what you can do with that is it lets you to test your model in the Live2D Cubism app without having to export the model like 10 times or something, have to constantly check one parameter, or just to check if your face angles are good. Like you can just do it inside the actual Live2D Cubism app, and it just kind of saves you a lot of time. It's much more fluid in that way, and because you can adjust the parameters in Nizima Live, it lets you kind of see, okay, this is kind of how I want to have the model look like and be controlled as. It's just very useful if like if that is something that you need a tool to do. Nizima Live is a good option for that. I also think this tool is very useful for creators who want to make videos like either long form or short form content, because again, like you can just use this as a VTubing program, and it has all these different types of transparency captures for your OBS. And if you don't even have like a model, you can just utilize the Irasutoya models as like additional background captures, or just as like your own VTuber model. Now, early in the video, I had mentioned that there is Makopi tracking in this, and I have never seen anything like that before in a VTuber tracking application. Basically, you can puppeteer your entire VTuber model with full body tracking. Again, I've never seen something like this implemented in a Live2D 2D environment, and the idea of me being able to lift up my leg and like I could actually signal my character to jump, or I could start toggling like a walking animation, or I could just, you know, just to be able to move my legs and like my hands is just really cool. Like I can just imagine like all the different key bindings you could do on like a stream deck that you could, instead of doing that, connect it to Nizima Live with like full body tracking. So let's say like you wanted to like lift up your arm, but instead of it actually lifting up your arm, maybe it like lifts up your arm and does like a peace sign or something like that. Like it's all based off like how your model is rigged and connected to the parameters on this application. And that should give you some ideas on some different creative potentials of like what you could do with this application. Overall, I think that this is a really cool program. And it makes me want to start rigging my new Live2D model because I've been working on it with my friend Iris. And like, I really love the lip sync feature and how I can fine tune the expressions based off of the voice of like the volume I am speaking. It feels intuitive. Everything is explained clearly. And when you're stuck on something, it easily takes you to all the documentation pages and how to do everything, which you would be surprised like how uncommon that type of thing is with like these applications. I really appreciate the amount of time and effort that both Nizima and Live2D Cubism, as well as all the other collaboratives that they had to like make these programs available now, because I did not have this back in the day. And I really wish I could have had something like this because I like all-in-one programs. Typically, they're not as intensive on like my computer. Trying to have all these like different programs up and running, my computer can't really handle it that well. So I'm actually pretty excited to be able to start testing out more Nizima Live and like kind of seeing how like the application develops as time goes on. Because even if I wasn't rigging my model myself, I still feel like I have more flexibility to adjust my model's movements to make it as fluid as I possibly can. And like, I love these effects that you can do. These effects are so freaking cool. If you got anything out of this video, I think Nizima Live and these new Irasutoya models are an amazing addition to add to your arsenal of VTuber programs to creatively express yourself, because at the end of the day, we're entertainers. We just want to not feel limited anymore. And like, I think that having a lot of different options available to you, especially compared to how I didn't have a lot starting off, kind of should get those creative juices flowing and like give you some ideas on like taking that first step into VTubing and not being afraid because you don't have this or that. So definitely give Nizima Live a try. Try out the Irasutoya models. And even if you don't have Makopi to like do the full body tracking, you can still do like cool hand tracking with the webcam option that they have on there too. If you like these kind of demo review type of videos, then let me know in the comments down below, and feel free to give me some suggestions on anything you'd like me to check out for VTubing applications in 2025, because I plan on making a full tutorial and advice guide this year, so make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on that. And with that, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next time. And remember, everything reminds you of something. Bye, everyone.